Hello everyone. Welcome back to Mango. This video is about Introduction to Excel VBA. What is VBA? VBA stands for Visual Basic for Applications. It is a programming language developed by Microsoft and it is integrated into the major Microsoft Office applications, such as Word, Excel, and Access. Learning VBA programming can help Microsoft Office users access functions beyond what is directly available in the various Office applications. VBA can be used to analyze large amounts of data, create and maintain complicated financial models. Recording a macro is relatively simple and requires no inherent knowledge of the VBA code and will work for simple processes. However, this method is not very customizable. What can we do with VBA? Inserting a bunch of text. Creating a custom command. Developing new worksheet functions. Creating custom add-ins for Excel. Creating complete, macro-driven applications. Automating a task you perform frequently. Automating repetitive operations. Some Excel VBA shortcuts are shown below. How to display a new tab called Developer at the top of the screen. Step 1. Right-click any part of the ribbon and choose Customize the ribbon. Step 2. Under Customize the ribbon, on the right side of the dialog box, select Main tabs if necessary. Check the Developer checkbox and click OK. You can find the Developer tab next to the View tab. Advantages of Excel VBA. Excel always executes the task in exactly the same way. Excel performs the task much faster than you can do it manually. If you're a good macro programmer, Excel always performs the task without errors. If you set things up properly, someone who doesn't know anything about Excel can perform the task. You can do things in Excel that are otherwise impossible, which can make you a very popular person around the office. For long, time-consuming tasks, you don't have to sit in front of your computer and get bored. Excel does the work while you hang out at the water cooler. Disadvantages of Excel VBA. VBA is a moving target. As you know, Microsoft is continually upgrading Excel. Even though Microsoft puts great effort into compatibility between versions, you may discover that the VBA code you've written doesn't work properly with older versions or with a future version of Excel. Other people who need to use your VBA programs must have their own copies of Excel. It would be nice if you could press a button that transforms your Excel/VBA application into a standalone program, but that isn't possible. Sometimes, things go wrong. In other words, you can't blindly assume that your VBA program will always work correctly under all circumstances. Welcome to the world of debugging and, if others are using your macros, technical support. How to refer the object. If we want to refer an object by specifying its position in the object using a dot as a separator. For example, we can refer to the workbook book1.xlsx as follows. Application Workbooks, book1.xlsx. Extending this to next level, we can refer to Sheet 1 in book1.xlsx as follows. Application Workbooks, book1.xlsx, Worksheets, Sheet 1. Extending this to next level, we can refer to specific cell in Sheet 1 as follows. Application Workbooks, book1.xlsx, Worksheets, Sheet 1, Range 01. If we omit specific references, Excel uses the active objects. If Book 1 XLSX is the active workbook, we can simplify the preceding reference as follows. Worksheets, Sheet 1, Range A1. If you know that Sheet 1 is the active sheet, you can simplify the reference as follows. Range A1. If we want to refer a property of an object by combining the object name with the property name, separated by a dot. For example, we can refer to the value property in cell A1 on Sheet 1 as follows: Worksheets, Sheet 1, Range A1. Value. We can assign values to variables. A variable is a named element that stores information. You can use variables in your VBA code to store such things as values, text, or property settings. To assign the value in cell A1 on Sheet 1 to a variable called interest, use the following VBA statement. Interest equals worksheets, Sheet 1, Range A1, value. If we want to clear the contents of cell A1, Worksheets, Sheet 1, Range A1, clear contents. VBA includes all the constructs of modern programming languages, including variables, arrays, and looping. How to record the macro. Step 1. Start Excel if it's not already running. Step 2. If necessary, create a new, empty workbook, Ctrl+N. Step 3. Select a cell. Step 4. Choose Developer Code Record Macro or click the Macro Recording button on the status bar. Step 5. Enter a name for the macro. Step 6. Click in the shortcut key box and enter Shift+N. Step 7. Make sure the Store macro in setting is this workbook. Step 8. You can insert some text in the description box if you want. Click OK. Step 9. Enter your ID number in the active cell. Step 10. Move the cell pointer to the cell below and enter this formula, equals now. Step 11. Select the formula cell and press Ctrl+C to copy that cell to the clipboard. Step 12. Choose Home Clipboard Paste Values, V. Step 13. With the date cell selected, press Shift+Up arrow to select that cell and the one above it, which contains your ID number. Step 14. Use the controls in the Home Font group to change the formatting to bold and make the font size 16 point. Step 15. Choose Developer Code Stop Recording. The macro recorder was turned off. How to examine the macro. Choose Developer Code Visual Basic, Alt+F11. In the VBE window, locate the window called Project. Select the project that corresponds to the workbook in which you recorded the macro. Click the plus sign, plus, to the left of the folder named Modules. Double-click on Module 1. How to modify and save the macro. If you want to change the font type by adding new line as follow. Selection, font, italic equals true. Like whatever you need, you can add a delete modify the macro. If you store one or more macros in a workbook, the file must be saved as a macro-enabled file type. In other words, the file must be saved with an XLSM extension rather than the normal XLSX extension. For example, When you save the workbook that contains your ID number and time macro, the file format in the Save As dialog box defaults to XLSX, a format that cannot contain macros. Unless you change the file format to XLSM, Excel displays the warning shown in below. You need to click No, and then choose Excel Macro-Enabled Workbook, star.xlsm, from the Save As Type drop-down list. How to enable the macro. A macro can delete files, send information to other computers, and even destroy Windows so that you can't even start your system. The macro security features was introduced in Excel 2007 were created to help prevent these types of problems. Below image shows the macro settings section of the Trust Center dialog box. To display this dialog box, choose Developer Code Macro Security. Click on Enable All Macros, and click the checkbox, Trust Access to the VBA Project Object Model. Then the macro run without error.